Okay, let's dive into a story that you're just not going to forget. We're talking about Stephanie Smith today, and honestly, her journey is the kind of thing you see in movies. It's this incredibly powerful story about hitting absolute rock bottom and then finding a path to financial freedom that she never, ever saw coming. And this quote right here from Stephanie herself, I mean, it just says it all, doesn't it? This isn't just about a pay raise. This is a complete 180-degree turn in life. So how in the world did that happen? Let's get right into it. Every big story has to start somewhere. And Stephanie's, well, it didn't start with some big, perfectly executed plan. Nope. It started with something that most of us, let's be honest, we just throw right in the trash. A piece of junk mail. What's so wild about this is that she was a total newcomer. I mean, here she is, 30 years old, a stay-at-home mom, and the whole world of insurance might as well have been a foreign language. This wasn't just a career change for her, it was like discovering a whole new universe she didn't even know existed. So after she responded to one of those mortgage protection mailers, the agent who was helping her family made this super casual offer right as he was walking out the door. Just a simple question, a simple little opportunity that would end up changing literally everything. But here's the thing you have to understand. This opportunity didn't just fall into her lap when life was perfect. To really get the scale of her success, you have to see the massive, massive struggle she was clawing her way out of at the time. And when I say struggle, I mean it. We're talking about a time when she and her oldest son were literally living in their car. For years, it was just a constant battle to keep the lights on, to get groceries. The stakes for her could not have been higher. And on top of all that financial pressure, she was also really early in her sobriety journey. So she's carrying all this weight from past mistakes, feeling like nobody would ever really trust her or give her a second chance. Her day-to-day was just this overwhelming, brutal cycle. Constantly getting bills shut off, paying just enough on one to make it to the next month, feeling completely and utterly trapped. So she jumped in. And after 6 months of grinding it out, juggling a new baby, childcare, learning a whole new industry from scratch, she'd made $12,000. Look, it was a start for sure, but it wasn't that life-changing income she was desperately hoping for. So what was the missing piece? Every great comeback story has that one moment, right? The catalyst, the spark. And for Stephanie, it wasn't some new sales trick or a lucky break. It was a deep, fundamental shift in what she believed was actually possible for herself. And that spark? It happened at a conference. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. She walked into that room full of self-doubt, thinking about all her past mistakes. But for the first time, she saw people just like her. A single mom with 5 kids, others who had fought their own incredible battles. And they weren't just getting by, they were thriving. And in that moment, something clicked. She realized her past wasn't a prison sentence. It was actually her strength. The real barrier wasn't her history, it was her own self-belief. And the results were, well, they were immediate and absolutely mind-blowing. In the very next month, she made $5,500. She said she had never, ever made that much money in her entire life. That was all the proof she needed. The system worked, and now, finally, she believed she could work the system too. Okay, so her entire mindset did a complete flip. But what was she actually doing? What's the model here? Let's pull back the curtain for a second and look at the nuts and bolts that make a financial turnaround like this even possible. So it really boils down to some pretty straightforward math. Let's just walk through it real quick. Say a family buys a policy for about $100 a month. Well, as you can see, that's a $1,200 annual premium. The agent's commission is based on that yearly amount. And here's the kicker. The company pays a big chunk of it, around 75% right away. So you can see how helping just a few families a week can start to add up incredibly fast. Now, helping families week after week, that's how you build a great living. But as this next part of the story shows, sometimes a single case, one single conversation, can be, well, truly life-altering. And it all started right here, with an old $18 lead for a small final expense policy. This is exactly the kind of thing a lot of people might just skip over, thinking it's too small, too old, not worth the effort. That $18 lead, it introduced her to a client who also needed help protecting his retirement savings. So she partners with an expert on her team, they help him with an annuity, and that one single action generated a commission of $37,000. As she puts it, life-changing. So after walking this just incredible path from total desperation to massive success, Stephanie's whole perspective on the opportunity itself, it started to change. Her thinking went from feeling like she wasn't good enough to feeling this deep sense of responsibility. At first, her past made her feel like no one would ever want to work with her, right? But after she saw firsthand how powerful this business could be, especially during the pandemic when so many people were losing their jobs, her view just completely flipped. She realized it would be unbelievably selfish not to share the very thing that had given her all of this freedom. And that really brings us to the heart of this entire story. Stephanie found her version of freedom. Freedom from debt, freedom from her past, the freedom to actually be present for her kids. But her story is such a powerful mirror for all of us, isn't it? It makes you stop and ask yourself, when you strip everything else away, what does that word freedom, what does it truly mean to you?